welcome everybody to Good Sports The Next Generation with Dan Craven. It's been a while. Not really that long, but probably long enough for you to remember. But anyways, here we are. We're just back in the studio with my friends Dwayne Kohler. Always good to have you here.
Always good to be here, Dan.
My connection to the outdoors, and DJ.
Good to be here.
Yeah, the voice of the color man of the Bulldog hockey.
So I'm the outdoors, he's the indoors.
He is.
That's right.
That's how that works. See how I got this coordinated? This is all about coordination. We have what we call the old Potpourri, the Hunter Stew today. We're talking about all kinds of different stuff. We'll just kind of give you a rundown as we go. But I think we'll start off just the first segment here. So it's a no holds barred. So if you guys come up with something and you want to throw something out there, and this is what we're going to formally call the Segue Show. So if we kind of get off the beaten path, we're segueing. So just stick with us.
Are those things you like that you stand on and ride and everything like motorcycles?
We rode on those one time. We took the tour of the battlefield on one of those, and they're driven by a gyroscope. And if you lean the wrong way, I mean, it's like a death spiral. That thing just starts going. And we had some guy that was ahead of us, and he got into that death spiral. There was no returning.
No, you just leave him on the trail, and off you go.
Burn. Down he went. Anyways.
Speaking of things you ride on, the rec complex is in the need of a new Zamboni.
There we go.
Yes.
Olympia, thanks to the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation, and due to their connections with Channel Lock, a $50,000 big cardboard check about this big. I thought, there's no way that's going to fit through the window at the drive-thru.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know how that's going to get cashed.
Or up that tube that they use.
$50,000. That's covering more than half the cost of the new thing. So that's going to be, I think, ready to go for this season. So that was exciting news. And of course, I got to meet Iceberg.
Oh, yeah.
When the cardboard check came. And Phil Bork. That was cool to get to meet them.
Yeah, the boy, he's on the radio or something, isn't he?
Yeah. He's the
old 2-9er.
The 2-9er. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It sounds like a train. The old 2-9er. So how's you and Iceberg? You guys were tight? I mean,
he didn't talk at all. I don't know.
Maybe he's not allowed.
Maybe the cat got his tongue or
sore throat.
Something like that. Maybe too much on the cold.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I mean, the Zamboni, the Olympia that's there now is 29 years old, I think. The rec complex got its new chillers this year, so the ice, from what I was told, was excellent and everything worked out.
It is good.
It was, yeah.
It is.
And of course, you got to surface that ice, so the machine has been repaired over and over and over a million times. And so the debate now is, well, we're going to keep the old one just to have it as a backup in case something goes wrong with the new one. So that's the debate that's going on right now. But I think the board's leaning towards getting another Olympia as opposed to a Zamboni machine. So speaking of Zamboni machines, Dan, you and I got to go to a Penguins game here not too long ago. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun,
and they have Zambonis there, and they have two of them right at the same time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they get through that a little quicker than we do with them.
Yeah, right.
A little bit quicker. But staying on the Mark theme, and I was talking to Aaron Rekic. I'm sorry, but anyways, great guy. I'll tell you what, he's doing marvelous things there, and he wanted me to kind of throw out there that I think May 4th they're going to have like a roller hockey deal at the Mark. Now, whether it's a league or you come and play, but anyways, if you're interested in roller hockey and after they take the ice down, get a hold of the Mark. I know that's one of the big things that they're looking into. And Dwayne, he'll tell you now, I mean, they're always looking for money and donations if you have an extra whatever laying around. And
there is an event coming up, April 20th, a 5K, which I don't think there's been, that I remember, I don't think there's been a 5K at the Mark in the past. But I mean, that's where the high school team has this cross-country meets and all that. So
April 20th.
April 20th, that's a Saturday, I believe.
Okay.
And I believe the money's going to go towards the Mark. And I think there's maybe another charity involved in that also. But you need to get signed up for that one pretty quick here. I think the sign-ups go through the 12th or 13th or something like that.
And that's, again, through the Mark you can do that?
Yeah.
That's a good thing to have.
Get out there for that event. I think that'll be fun.
That's a good
I unfortunately have to be out of town that day, so I won't be able to join in. But I would love to join in, but gotta be out in Michigan. So
yeah, you'll be out of town. All right. So if anything else comes up with the Mark along the way, we can certainly just kind of throw that in. One thing that we're gonna beat another dead horse, and we're gonna bounce this around a little bit. It all goes back to the basketball playoffs, and then it goes football playoffs, whatever, with the PIAA, and this topic's been batted around more than a badminton shuttlecock. But I mean, the charter schools and the prep schools, they're playing against these, regular, city type schools. I just think that the PIAA in this day and age should just get them. I mean, they should be beating up on themselves. Dwayne, what do you think?
I agree with you 150%. I remember a couple of years ago when Meadville made it to the state finals in basketball. And I swear it was like a college all-star team that they were playing. I mean, there was a couple 7-foot guys.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Their guards were like 6'9" or whatever.
Right.
And Meadville had one big guy, and that wasn't even the same size as their guards. It's a team that can recruit, and that's a whole different. It's like a different league. I mean, it's like it's like a whole different world. I'm not complaining. I mean, Meadville had, I think, one of the strongest teams it ever had, and still has strong players now. But it's like you're not even playing. It's not apples and apples. I mean, it's apples and yogurt or something. I mean, it's just not. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. That's just not right in my opinion.
Yeah, even it's. Again, I mean, kids are coming in. DJ, what do you think? You played. You played against prep in soccer. You played against them in hockey, and then you played against some of the other schools. In fact, I mean, look at the team you just beat. You beat Melbourne Prep for
Melbourne Prep, yeah.
On their ice. How's that feel?
Yeah, certainly. So I mean, yeah, I'm with you. It's not necessarily fair. You'd certainly love to have the level playing field. I guess I'm maybe in a time in my life that at the same time you got to be able to learn some of those lessons that life isn't fair all the time too. So I can see the other side of it. I don't know the actual amount of recruiting that they are successful with and what kind of advantages those kids have over anybody else. So it would be nice if there is a significant difference in balance of competitiveness. It doesn't make sense for them to be on the same playing field or surface or arena or whatever that is. But again, at the same time, I don't know. We were able to beat those guys in a couple of things. Whether it be the prep guys from up in Erie. We went back and forth on those guys, and even anybody from Pittsburgh. We had our fair share with them as well too. So it all depends on the area and the atmosphere. But I've been on the other side of those, as well, charter schools, right. And I've been on teams that have done very well and teams that have done very bad. So I can see this side of it on both sides.
I don't know. There's just some kind of statistic out there, but I'd like to see. I mean, it was like with Kennedy Catholic got good for them. But I mean, I think they smoked somebody and going to the playoffs, or I don't know. Like you say, a lot of these guys just look like junior varsity from colleges.
Put them against their other schools that have the same kind of setup, where they.
That's what I mean.
Go out and recruit. Try and pull the best kid off our team. To go into their team. I remember years ago that happening with the Burnett family, where they were trying to get mom a job. To get all the sons to go up and play for Cathedral Prep in Erie, and that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's like play with apples and apples.
Right.
It's a different league. It's different rules that shouldn't be head to head.
Yeah, and what I guess the one thing that I always never liked about it was that if you are going from here and you're going to go up to Prep and go up to Erie and play, that's the one thing that I always was salty, I guess, about. If you live in Erie and you go play for Prep, I don't know that I have as much of a problem with it for whatever reason. It's just like somebody living in Pennsylvania and they're an Oakland Raiders fan. Like, you don't live in Oakland. You live in Pennsylvania, so you should be rooting for the teams that are around here. I understand in our area, Cleveland and Buffalo is somewhat close, so that's like at least somewhat there. But, it's just, I don't know, it feels like bandwagon-y-ish. All of a sudden now you're a Chicago Bulls fan, or now all of a sudden you're an LA fan, a Lakers fan, because you were a Cleveland fan, and then before that you were a Miami Bulls or a Miami Heat fan, and then before that you were a Cleveland fan just because you're following LeBron.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong about having prep schools and and recruiting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you maybe that gets you into a certain college you want to get into by going to that prep school. Or
right. Yeah.
Just let them compete against themselves.
Right.
Have them in their own league.
Right.
You can't take away from a kid that wants to better himself, or a family wants to better the kid's self.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And ultimately, it's all supposed to be about education, anyways. I mean, the kids that are going to go and play at these prep schools, their level of, or the percentage of people that are actually going to go to the next level is very small, and then the people that go from that level to go to the next level is even smaller yet. So, the NCAA has its statistic on the TV all the time about how many kids graduate through this, athletics, and they're done with their athletic career at that point. So
I'm getting a kick out of turning on the news every so often now. And parents trying to get their kids into a certain school by cutting their kid's picture out and putting it on somebody else's body, in a sport, so that their kid gets, and then they pay a bribe of $75,000 or whatever.
We just had a bunch of actresses. I mean, there's a couple of people that got
Yeah,
They're-
that's what I think is what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like they're false, but yeah, that's a little off the side.
So you pretend like your kid's great in some sport, and then you pay a big bribe to get your kid into a school so that it helps them out down the road.
We were
What are
talking.
you teaching them?
Give me a break.
We were talking about this. I don't know who it was, and again, this is not sports, but it is kind of sports because the one, I forget which actress it was, some Hallmark girl or whatever, ended up getting somehow twisted and got their son a scholarship on the tennis team, and the kid never played tennis.
Yeah, he doesn't even know how to play.
It's just like, I mean, just to kind of get these kids in. But that's neither here nor there. Now, the same thing going along with the PIAA. For all you people out there that have kids that maybe have gone through and you don't have anybody on the sports anymore, I know that usually all the time, the PIAA is always looking for officials. So if you think you want to keep your hand in the game, a little bit, but I will tell you, there's a payoff there. Yeah, you get paid for it, but you don't make friends quick. Let me tell you that. But it's a good way to stay in the game. So if there's a sport out there you like, and you get online there, I think it used to be you had to go to school to take a test, but I think you can do everything online. Everything's online nowadays, and so you can, if you want to, just do that, because I know that. Talking to some of the soccer refs and everybody, basketball refs and people you talk to, and now lacrosse is starting to be a big deal, and people have to come. Who knows where those referees have to come from? But that's just another way to get involved if you want to in the PIAA. Other than that, I guess the other thing I have a gripe about the PIAA. If anybody has a map handy of Pennsylvania, I'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and get that out. In the meantime, I'm going to use my little board here as a map of Pennsylvania, if you will. So generally, it looks like this. Generally, it's got the little guy up here. So Pittsburgh is here. Philadelphia is here. Hershey is somewhere here. Erie's here. Centre County, where Penn State is, big major university, is here. But where do we go for all our championship games? Hershey, way down here. Why can't we go to, why do you think, I'm going to take a poll amongst the three, why do you think they call it Centre County,
The business I used to work in, we're going to have a Western Pennsylvania meeting. Oh, great, where is it? It's State College. I'm like, how does that get,
Not even close.
It's not Harrisburg or Philly, so that's Western, the folks in that end of the state, which, granted, that's the biggest population.
Right.
There's more people. That's why the state wants to fall into the ocean over there.
Right.
Personally, I would do a trade and trade Philly to Delaware. Let them
have it.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right, Dan.
So here's her, yeah. So, and I think the big deal is that, so what, the PIAAs, I think it's like in Mechanicsburg, which is down here, and then you got all Chambersburg, you got all the Gettysburg, you got all Civil War burgs. But Penn State, I'm going to guess, has enough facilities to probably host the championship game in Centre County. DJ, what's your...
I would think. They do have, and it's spelled a little differently, but it is in the middle of the state. It's pretty clear. I don't know. I'm with you. I never understood it. It's always been in Hershey, and I don't know if Penn State didn't have the facilities that they thought were capable initially, or what it is, but I have no idea.
And maybe it might say, it might be too pricey or too costly. I think you can make out a deal. Dwayne, I think the year that you were talking about, when the Burnett's went down and played down to Hershey, I think the team they played was like a half an hour away. So this is not, to me, it's not conducive to Pittsburgh. It's not conducive to District 10. It's not conducive. I don't get it. So I'm a little upset about the PIAA about that too. So if anybody out there is a part of the PIAA board, you can contact me at this email address right here. Right here. Keelan's going to put it up there. Enough of that. I'm getting all fired up. All right. Now,
where's that bucket of water? DJ?
We're going to take a quick step here. Not real quick. We're going to talk about, Dwayne, you have a good input as well. The NHL playoffs. I don't know when they start, but
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Yes, this Wednesday.
April 10th, I
The
think.
10th, yep.
We know that, Pittsburgh's going to play the Islanders, and Of course, in the eastern side, it looks like Tampa Bay. You know the teams? You're up on the ski?
For the most part, yeah.
I know them, so let me know if you need anything. But what give me your, projection.
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously
Give me the scoop.
the one here locally that everybody's going to be interested in is the Penguins. And
Yep.
obviously they're going to be playing the Islanders, which is very interesting because that series will actually host the coach that has won the Stanley Cup for the last 3 years, because Barry Trotz, who coached Washington Capitals, is now on the Islanders, is coaching the Islanders. The Islanders are a team that's a very structured team. I mean, obviously they've got a couple of the big shooters up at the top, and the likes of some All-Stars there, but they have less All-Stars than Pittsburgh does. They've got less experience than Pittsburgh does in the playoffs and certainly in the postseason. I think that Game 1, which is Wednesday, Game 2 is Friday. Again, you could say so many cliche things of, your goaltending's got to play well, your stars have got to play like stars, and the third or second tier scoring has got to play well. Couldn't ring more true in this series. Islanders sometimes have a by committee goaltending that is unusual to most teams that are kind of at the level that they're at this time of year. So there's a lot of different things to look into. Again, it's good to see from a Pittsburgh standpoint of all the guys come back and play the last couple games, Letang and Malkin and Brian Rust a couple weeks last end of the season. So good to see all that. Hopefully they got a little bit of, no pun intended, rust off of their skates that they can be able to perform at the level that we've seen and be fortunate at. 14th in a row that they've made the playoffs. Pittsburgh has, and if they were able to continue and make it there, that again the Stars are going to be the Stars, and if they actually were to make it far enough, and you would assume that means Crosby's got a good chance at the Conn Smythe, and if he were to get it, it's a fun fact here, he would be the only guy with Patrick Waugh to actually get three of those bad boys. So just some opportunities here. Again, as a Pittsburgh fan, as myself and a local fan, that's the one that I'm obviously the most keen in on. If we win that game, I believe they have the standard divisions now. We'd play the winner of Washington-Carolina game. Carolina being the wild card that they've been fighting tooth and nail at the end, similar to Pittsburgh was as well. So they've been in the playoffs for a couple weeks already. Carolina has. Washington has not. They actually sat a couple people there towards the end when they lost to 3-0 to the Islanders. But so that's kind of my first take on some of them. I didn't really go anywhere else. I mean, Tampa Bay is they this
60
year
wins.
just
60,
nasty.
120 like 5+ points.
Yeah, I mean, just set some records and certainly have done a lot of things there. The one thing with that is I will say time and time again, now granted, Stamkos, they've proven that they can win. But how many times have we seen Washington go out and smoke 100-some points and then lose in the first round or the second round?
It's a whole new season.
I do like, from a Pittsburgh standpoint, that we'll be able to play the winner of Washington, Carolina, opposed to any of those other teams. Boston, and Toronto. That's not going to be an easy team to play, but hopefully everybody beats each other up enough, and it's a long-term game. Nothing's going to get handed out until May or even June. So really excited for it. I think there's a lot of good storylines. The USA I saw going to get some airtime along with NBC Sports. So some different channels. So definitely check your local listings. If you don't have cable options, take a look at NHL Network and see if you can't watch some puck. So pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'll say. Dwayne, what do you like?
No, I agree with DJ. Seeing Malkin and Letang come back, they went from kind of like really stinking on the power play, doing okay the rest of the game,
right.
And then the power play just kind of turned around like boom. But you put those guys back in there, and that made a big difference in the 2 or 3 games that they were both in there at the end of the season. But I'm still thinking Pittsburgh's missing just a couple of grinder type guys that they used to have that. What's his name? That got traded a couple years ago after the last cup.
Which one? Maxim Talbot, Cook, Matt Cook, Kunitz is who you're probably thinking of.
Chris Kunitz. Yeah. It's like, is he the star? Is he the name that comes to the top? But you've got to have those guys. And to me, I think they're going to miss having that through those 7 game series.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make it through the first 1 or 2 series and then run into a brick wall. But Yeah, I'm encouraged. You know, the other thing, you know, you talked about Tampa, and you know they're, you know, I mean, have they burned up all their jet fuel already?
Right, exactly.
Are they going to run out of gas here?
Absolutely.
My personal guess is, yeah, maybe. You know, yeah,
Most of the time.
Yeah. I was happy to see Pittsburgh get, you know, their guys all back right in time for the playoffs.
Yeah. Hopefully they're healthy.
So, got my fingers crossed, anyways. For
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. And Hornquist fills that role a little bit, what Kunitz used to do. He's taken on that role more than when Kunitz was there. Rust is a little bit more of a grinder. And I'd say one thing a guy I didn't mention is I think Matt Cullen coming back this year is going to be one of those off-ice that you just don't see maybe on the scoreboard so much. You know, I think about it from the
kind of like Billy Guerin did.
I was just gonna say, like when Billy Guerin came back, I mean, he was one of the main reasons why they won that cup in '09. So you do watch the interviews from Crosby of everything that he did off the ice. That he's just he brings that presence in the locker room that you can't replace that.
Hey, one other thing too, Crosby. I mean, his defense. I mean, he's got a complete game
all around
this year.
Yeah, they're still talking about that.
Yeah, he's really. I think he ended up with 100 points or something.
100
like that.
even right on the nose. Yeah, he scored.
But it's like he was in on you know, shorthanded. You know, I mean, I was really impressed. I mean, Crosby. You know, he's not 13th year now or something like that.
Yeah, he's
like getting better. You know.
Yeah. Yep. He's
I
around
think in
30.
December he wasn't even smelling any scoring, and then all of a sudden he turned it on. But the other thing too is one of the big series when they were in Nashville. You talk about. I mean, this is where a friend of mine was telling me. Dennis Custer was read a report. I think it was on ESPN. Is that Crosby's still mentioning as one of the best in the world from the standpoint of what you're saying. He plays all three zones, but not only does he play all three zones. Like the game against Nashville, he was 25. He won 25 out of 27 faceoffs. Now that's crazy. We're talking about the NHL here. We're not talking pick up at the mark.
Yeah.
And so if I've lost 5 guys, and the coach is looking at this, and they're saying, you know, Crosby beat that guy 5 times. There's going to be somebody else in there. I mean, he didn't face that. So he's facing different techniques and strategies. And so that's a huge part of the game, you know, with regards, you know, to what's going on. So you're absolutely right. He's still mentioned as being up there.
It's like there isn't one piece of his game that's weak or whatever. You know, you see him in the corner and someone's battling for the puck. He always comes out of there with a puck, you know, and puts it right on someone else's stick, you know, to get a shot on.
He's an ambassador.
He's doing really, really exceptionally well this year.
I think what the interesting storyline is here that I found. I want the Penguins obviously to beat the Islanders, and you know, DJ brings an interesting point. You know, that Trotz and then of course 2 Sullivans. But if for some reason, and I'm not wishing this, but I'm saying, if the Penguins were to lose to the Islanders, Trotz gets to go back into Washington, and I don't think there's anybody that knows how Washington plays better than Trotz does. So that'll be an interesting series. I mean, I think the Islanders might have a better round next round than they will this round. The other thing I want to top on that, which is not a good statistic for the Penguins during the regular season, but might be good now because they're on the road against the Islanders. Carolina, I doubt, is going to beat Washington. So if they play Washington, they're going to be on the road again. And then I'm going to guess, let's say Tampa Bay sweeps it through. Even Toronto, Boston, it doesn't matter. They're going to be on the road. They had the worst penalty kill at home in the NHL.
Right.
So if you want to have a good penalty kill, which they did, was on the road. That's feeding into their positives.
Yeah.
I got to tell you what, I'm going with the big. My prediction is going to be Toronto is going to be playing either Pittsburgh or Washington for the Eastern Finals. I think Tampa Bay gets upset in the second round by Toronto. And over in the West, but nobody talks about because nobody cares. But
it's also on at 10 o'clock at night.
It's also 10 o'clock at night. Calgary's going to play Colorado, and Winnipeg has to play St. Louis. Good hats off to Las Vegas. They're in it again. They play San Jose. And then Nash has to play Dallas. So that's what's going on over there. And we'll just wait to see what comes out of that mess. So we're rooting for it. But you bring up good points. I think the Penguins are getting healthy at the right time. You know, and I think they're going to be able to give it a go. All right, let's take one quick break, and then we'll be back for our second segment, which is going to consist of, I have no idea. So we'll be back in a flash. Hey, Hey, welcome back to Good Sports, the Next Generation. Of course, you know me. I'm Dan Craven, and Dwayne Kohler to my right, DJ on the left here. We're gonna like again, if you're just joining us, this is our Potpourri edition. We have those once every whatever.
Whenever it stinks, we
whatever,
just put it in.
Whenever there's not, whenever we just put that in. That's right. And and it's also our segue edition, so we may just segue away, and that's okay. But right now, we're going to the new segment that I just created. It's called the Outdoor Opportunity. And
He put a lot of time into that segment creation, didn't he?
I did. Outdoor Opportunity. Now, we're going to call it O squared in here, but let's not try to get technical at home. You just remember Outdoor Opportunity. Dwayne, we're going to start with you. I want all the outdoor opportunities that have been, that you want to talk about, that's going to be. It's all you. Outdoor opportunities.
So St. Trout Day, my friend Charlie Anderson would call it that. That comes up here, I think, this coming weekend, when trout season starts. That's very popular around here.
Yeah.
That's right.
And 1 week after that is the Kids' Day for turkey hunting. That's on the day of the Mark 5K on the 20th. That's when that starts, and then regular turkey season starts the following Saturday. So that's real popular. Turkeys are real tricky. They're very. We had one show several years back. Terry Beck and I, we went on a turkey hunt. We did get one, and that they're like, you call them in and whatever, and it's one of the things where you do everything right and it doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to shoot them out of a tree.
No, why? Oh, who told you that?
I don't know. Somebody
okay.
told me once they had to be on the ground. They couldn't be flying or in a tree. I was told.
I'm not sure about that, but it's like you're not supposed to be moving around, get covered in camo. When you're moving around, you're supposed to be wearing your nice
They have
fluorescent.
good eyesight, don't they?
Orange. Oh yeah. So
Turkeys.
you got to be sitting still, and you got to be. You're trying to call them with the call, and they can see your hands moving. So some people use blinds and all that. So I wanted to bring up one thing that we filmed here a couple weeks. It's going to be our next Crawford County Outdoors. We had a veterans hunt. And thanks to all the folks that pulled that together, it was great. There was a whole bunch of organizations, and please watch the show. I think you'll really enjoy that. But there were 20 veterans who participated, some disabled, and there were more volunteers than they were turning people away. The people want to come out and help with that.
That was local. That was
here. It was in Hartstown, and they came up with those John Deere things for those that that couldn't really walk along real well to be side by side thing to be able to shoot birds out of. And the group I was with was all the flushing dogs, and the flushing dogs don't really work the same way as the pointers do. So we had all the guys that were walking real well in our group, and what a blast! Absolutely loved that. I interviewed.
So this is the first time this event happened.
It's the first time. I've been wanting for decades here now to have.
So this is going to happen again.
It sounds like. I hope so. We talked about that. So that's a real possibility. But
that's wonderful.
I was able to interview a guy that was a Korean War veteran, several guys that were Vietnam War veterans, guys from the Gulf War and from Afghanistan and Iraq, and just awesome. Absolutely loved that. That was a great event. Thanks to all the people that helped pull that together, and watch the show. It'll be on in a couple weeks.
And who spearheaded all that?
A gentleman named Corey Sly was his name, and I don't remember the organization that he's with, but he himself's not a veteran, and but it was something that moved him. Like I get, like all the people that just were dying to come out and volunteer and help, and Dr. Osborne, I believe is his name, owns this property out in Hartstown, and it was declared as you can register it as a preserve area. So when the hunting season's over, you can still have your own birds and you can release them on your own property and have a preserve hunt. And this was, and people just came out of the blue donating extra birds for the guys, and for the 20 hunters, I think there ended up being 200 birds by the time it was all done.
Wow.
A whole bunch of people came and donated birds, and I love to get Crash out there to get him some work, and I took Butch along, and Butch, I was going to take him out in the afternoon because they were going to do a half and half, and everybody was worn out and didn't want to go out in the afternoon, so Butch was a little disappointed. He didn't get the run.
Go ahead. This Mr. Sly, he's like, so is this happening obviously just on Meadville, like national, and this happens all over the place?
Honestly, I think there are events for veterans, and to me, it doesn't really get the play that it deserves. There's folks that have sacrificed everything, for the rest of us, and
this is a national event, then, kind of. Different places around the country do it?
I would hope so. I honestly don't know, but an event that benefits the veterans, and that's obviously a real stressful situation if you're in a combat situation like a lot of these guys were that I talked to, and still even the Vietnam guys that I talked to, that decades and decades later, they're still, having nightmares and,
Oh,
all
yeah,
that
sure.
kind of stuff.
Sure.
And getting out there with folks and seeing all the people that's supporting them and patting
Their
them on the
stories,
back and
yeah.
wanting to do for them,
Right.
nothing like they did for us,
Right.
the other way around. But people out wanting to volunteer to help put that event together.
That was a
just
big
awesome.
event.
So,
Well,
loved
good
it.
for you.
Absolutely-
Thanks for
absolutely
doing
loved it.
that.
That
Thanks
was
for pulling it
super. I can't
together.
wait till everybody gets to see that. We're trying to get us schedule a cooking segment with Chef Lisa to cook up. I didn't bring any birds home myself. I was just guiding and running a camera. I wasn't actually hunting, but I have a couple in the freezer, so we're gonna have something for Lisa
nice.
to cook up, because it's like whenever we have a hunting show and you got birds getting shot, you gotta have one of those.
Right,
you know,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in
You
the
got-
pot or
You
someplace.
got to eat them somehow.
So
So that was big.
I think we're gonna have pheasant wedding soup. I think when we talked about it, I think that's what we're gonna have.
That
so.
sounds good. All right, so you had mentioned some turkey coming up. Anything else in travel? I mean, what
Trout
else is going on
season.
from the outdoor standpoint?
The
Your next show, anything else? What do you want to promote?
Well, at some point down the road, we'll be doing a bunch more shows. So when topics come up, let me know. Contact somebody over here in Armstrong. They'll let me know. And that's actually been. I haven't really been working too hard on finding things, because the things are finding me more things than that I can keep on top of.
Yeah, that's good
When
though.
I got this call about this veterans thing, I absolutely, it's like drop everything. Yes, I absolutely want to be involved, and couldn't wait to take the dogs out there and
That's wonderful.
interview the guys
Yeah.
for the show. So I'm just tickled to death when those things come along.
That's good. That's good.
There are lots of other things out there. So let me just encourage people now, which I sometimes forget to do, but we do like to have our viewer video show. So take your camera when you're out fishing.
You've been saying this for years, yeah.
Take that GoPro.
Yeah.
We love to get that footage. So last year we got next to nothing that came in last year, so we didn't have a viewer video show. But we want to get that rolling again, and that's a blast. And getting all kinds of very unusual, very different things. Everything from weird cat things to deers fighting with each other and all kinds of things we've had on that show over the past. So take your phone,
That's right, yeah.
I had someone call me one time. I was like, boy, I was in my tree stand and a bear started climbing up the tree. He said, I didn't have a camera. I said, did you have your phone? Oh, I never thought I did. Take your phone out and get a picture of that bear climbing up in the tree with you there. Yeah.
There you
Anyways,
go. Next. Is that it?
that's it.
That was very good. Thank you. And again, thanks for being a part of that. Deej, how about you? Anything outdoor stuff?
Yeah, so we do. I actually got some outdoor stuff. Even though
Yeah.
I'm the indoor guy, I'm stepping out of my indoor role
Indoor.
as well. And so the Meadville Medical Center Foundation, as some of you may or may not know, they're raising money for the cancer center up on the hill in Vernon. They need a new linear accelerator, which basically provides the radiation to the cancer treatment patients. So to cycle this to outdoors, they are taking a trip. A group of people are going to Africa and going to be climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and I'm one of those people.
Yeah,
That is going to be attempting the trek. It's the tallest mountain in the continent of Africa. So it's one of the 7 summits. I believe it's the 4th tallest one in the world, maybe 5th. And it's going to be an adventure for sure. It's going to be outdoors, outdoorsy, and maybe we'll probably be on the show again before we go, so we can give more updates there. But the whole point of me bringing it up now is that we are looking for more donations.
I need to loan you a camera, DJ, to take
I was
with you
gonna
on
say,
this
you had a
climb.
GoPro.
Yes,
I was
a
gonna
GoPro
say.
would be great.
All right.
We
we will
do that.
make sure that happens.
We can make
Yeah,
sure
I
we
was
do that.
We need footage.
Give you
from
some
Mount
footage?
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be a nice
Netflix
one.
never been on an outdoor show.
No, yeah, we
that would
we might
definitely
be able
be
to make
good.
that happen.
Okay,
There'll be probably plenty of footage. So we'll put the website down here below. Any donations are welcome. We also are having an event at the Voodoo Compound, June 1st. We're going to have hopefully some entertainment and some food, and there'll be some beer included with the ticket purchases. Again, the website down below will give all that information, and we can. Thanks, Vanna. We can get all that information to you, and also we'll probably throw my email address on there as well. Contact me anytime with any questions, and we can get you all set up if you're willing to donate. So
big.
appreciate that in advance. But yeah, it's a millions of dollars to ultimately get one of these things, and our goal, our little portion of it is $250,000 we're trying to raise. So we are well on our way, but we need plenty more. And that's not only just the cash donations for the event, June 1st. If you have any raffle items or have anything else that would contribute to it, if you're out there and you might be able to contribute in any other way, we would be more than willing to take that as well too. So appreciate the time to plug that. But yeah, we'll definitely be getting some footage on that. and bringing it back here for the group, and maybe we'll have a little segment on it or something as well too. So
Yeah, that's
pretty
that
exciting.
sounds good. Yeah, that's good.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking ahead now. I have a hat that I will loan you, and it's got a place where the GoPro camera that clips right on. Like
There you
right,
go.
So it looks right where you're looking. So okay. We're good.
connected.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make this happen.
Very good. Yeah, my outdoor opportunity was I had 2 shag balls the other day getting ready for golf. Next.
Well, if you had an outdoor opportunity, then that means it would be outdoor cube. So we can't do that. It screws up the second.
That does screw it up. Anyway, so there we go. We're segueing right into golf. We're getting started here pretty soon with what the Masters is right around the corner, Deej, isn't it?
Right around like now. They're there now. We got the
So
it's
they're
this
practice
weekend.
round.
Yeah, practice rounds are right now. They're gonna have the par 3 tournament here, same day as the NHL playoffs are gonna start. That'll be Wednesday.
Yeah.
So the first round is on Thursday. Nothing but green. Nothing but green. So lots of excitement this year with the Masters. If we just take a pause and take a look at the PGA Tour this last year, Connors, this guy, I was going to say kid, he could be my age or older, but this guy that won it, he actually qualified for that tournament on Monday. So like a week from today, qualified for the tournament, went out, won the tournament.
Wow.
So isn't that pretty cool? Last time that
That is
happened
cool.
was, I think he said it was 9 years ago, and it's only the second time to happen in the last like 25 years.
How
or
old's
something.
this kid?
I don't know. He could be my age. He could be your age. I don't know. He's not necessarily a kid, but he's a guy that's he's not been around a while. He's not on tour a lot because he just qualified for it right now. Also had to change his plans because Sunday had to redirect because then he won the tournament. He actually gets to go to Augusta now as well too. So congratulations to Mr. Connors. Held off everybody. Actually, ended up winning by 2. He actually played pretty well yesterday, stringing a bunch of birdies together after a bunch of bogey strings. So, but pretty exciting as far as the usuals or some of the front runners. I didn't actually check the odds on who some of the front runners are, but Spieth is always an option. I didn't hear anything negative on Tiger. I'm assuming he's playing. And then Ricky Fowler, I think, is kind of the guy that he was in the top 3 last year with Spieth. Behind the ultimate winner, and I think if I'm going to kind of root for somebody, maybe it might be Ricky. You might see if he can
I
pull
like
through.
Ricky.
This year
Well,
I'm always a Jordan Spieth fan as well, especially what happened to him a few years ago. But
What about one of the Johnson
So-
kid brothers?
yeah, Dustin,
He
might
was
be
in
able
out
to do
there
it
for a while, wasn't
Yeah, he's always good. I mean, when he plays, usually he's pretty solid. And of course, Justin Rose won the FedEx last year, just over Tiger. So there's a lot of players out there. It's a grueling tournament, just like anything else, just because of the amount of pressure that gets put on this thing. And we'll see if we can't get a new winner like last year, and see what happens. I'm pretty excited for that as well. I mean, this is like one of the most fun time
Yeah, we
for me
start
to
to-
watch. You get to watch the golf, and then obviously we got the NHL playoffs. So it's a lot of TV bound that gets pulls away from that outdoor experience.
Then right after hockey's over, finally in June, then you got the U.S. Open, so you get 2
Right.
majors back to back. Now, not getting away from the Masters a little bit, but did someone tell me that like Sergio got booted off the course? Did he lose his temper? It's like smashed his club into
He
the.
did smash his club. I didn't hear
Was
that
it the green?
he got booted off.
I already got booted. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear he got booted. I did hear he lost his temper. I didn't able to hear that. I just heard like the highlight. I didn't able to see actually what happened. But he did lose his temper, I believe. It might even have been with. It was at the match play actually. I think is where it was.
That's exactly what it was.
It was not last weekend. It would have been the weekend before. I forget his name. That ultimately ended up.
That's
winning
what it was.
But, yeah, that's what it was.
Somebody
It
gave a gimme or some got a gimme and he.
yeah, it was basically some of those, one of those, yeah, it should have been a gimme, should not have been a gimme in his mind, whatever it was, and yeah, he got a little upset about it. But I don't think he got kicked out.
Oh, I got all kinds of things I want to talk about now. See how this happens? It just stimulates growth right here.
Something's growing.
I heard the wheels turning. Is that what that noise
Yeah,
was?
no, I wanted to ask you about this.
Kind of like grinding and squeaking and stuff.
As long as it doesn't start smoking, you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
That's right. Before I want to get on to that later, baseball. What do you guys feel, Dwayne? We'll start with you because we all golf. I mean, but we'll start with you. How do you like the new rule about leaving the pin in to putt in the green? You leave the pin in if you want to now.
I didn't know that was.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
It's
How do
brand
you-
new this year.
What do you think of that? That's a new rule. Do you like it? And someone's telling me it helps speed things up. How does it? I don't know how that happens. What do you thought? What's your thought on that?
Well, just from the rule being take it out for the last forever. It's like if you put and the ball's going a little bit too hard, it might hit the back of the hole and drop in. If it hits
Right.
the pin, it's going to bounce off. So
Right.
I don't know. my inclination is to go take it out.
Yeah, that's because you're old. If you
Old school,
all your
I
whole
guess.
life you played with it out. Dave, what do you think? You're a golfer. Guy.
Yeah, I mean, from the golf standpoint, they're making a lot of changes to try to speed up the play because ultimately they're trying to increase, people who go out and play. I think that it's a great idea for more of the amateurs than it is necessarily for the pros. I don't know that it's going to speed up their play as much as they've got caddies and people that know what they got going on and know what they're doing. But for the amateur level, like us, it's going to definitely speed up the play because I got a 50-foot putt and I got to wait for somebody to pull a pin out. I can just go ahead and hit it. So that's going to play. They're also talking about, I don't know if they should put it in or not. I haven't played yet this year and haven't really brushed up on this year. But at some point, they have talked about actually out of bounds being, for, again, an amateur in certain levels, not being a stroke and distance. So, again, to just try to speed up play. So, for those of you that do not know what I'm talking about, is that when you hit it from any area and then you ultimately hit it out of bounds, if you don't know if it's out of bounds, you have to hit a second one. It's called a provisional, and you might have to play that if that first one was, in fact, out of bounds. So, just that slows up the play, whereas now you can actually take a drop with, maybe a club or 2 lengths off of where it entered the out of bounds stake. So, you don't have the stroke and the distance. It will certainly
set like 10 cup. You don't hit 17.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, that one was a water hazard, a little bit different situation. But in any case, yes, the point is valid. So they're trying to do things to increase the speed of play. That is the biggest complaint with I'm right on the bubble of those millennials. Needing to be able to speed up and again to be able to intrigue new people to play the game. That's part of it.
Yeah, and that's going to be like the big editorial at the end of the thing. It's all leading to speed up, which we're going to go to baseball next, talking about some of the new rules. And again, it's to speed up. People want to speed up. Speed up. I want to see more scoring. I want to speed up. Here's baseball now, right? Next year, talking to Mike Carr, next year in professional baseball, if you bring in a relief pitcher, mandatory 3 batters. It's no left-handed specialist for the lefty. Wait for the guy to come in, warm up. It's mandatory 3 batters because I can't wait and watch him warm up. People are complaining about speeding up. You know what they did this year in the Grapefruit League? Trout is getting over $400 million over 13 years guaranteed. He should be able to hit the ball and get somebody on base. The guy out in Philadelphia that came from
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper, 330 over 10 years guaranteed. Now, in the Grapefruit League, if the game is tied at the end of 8, when the visiting team comes up to bat, they get to put somebody on second base, so we have an opportunity to score because we can't wait for extra innings. Then after they do that number, the home team gets to beer league a guy out to second base.
Wow.
Now, a guy I work with, Jeff, came up with the best idea. I love this idea. Forget to put the guy on the second base thing, right? Set a deadline. 12 innings, you're done. No more extra innings. It's a shootout in hockey. Get the players off the field, get your pitching coach to pitch to your 5 guys. Whoever has the most home runs, done deal. The fans love it. They get out of there early. Little Junior doesn't want another hot dog. You get to see us. Balls are flying out, so if you can't afford a good ticket, you might get a souvenir ball. I mean, everything's getting sped up. What's your thought, Dwayne?
It's got to wreck the budget on the baseballs, though, Dan. Just think about how many.
Use batting practice balls. Use batting practice ball. Do you ever notice a baseball game? After every inning, they throw the ball away. It's a new ball.
I heard exactly what you're talking about,
inning.
and I thought that putting the guy in a second, I thought that's the stupidest thing I ever
Beer
heard.
league.
I actually like the shootout idea.
The home run derby?
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Jeff's great. It's a great idea. But I mean, it's Deej.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. I mean, the biggest thing that people got to understand is patience is one of the things that I keep coming up with a lot, maybe more so in life than necessarily in sports, but I get it. I mean, the understanding too of that people to sit down and watch a 3-hour baseball game is boring, and the reality of where we're at right now in the world is that people aren't going to do it. So they're a business just like everybody else, and they're trying to stay up with the tides.
Exactly. It's like where's the beauty of the game? So now they have a pitch clock. It's like a shot clock in basketball. You got to throw your first pitch in like 20 seconds. And now they're putting a guy, and pretty soon they're going to put the line on third base. So if I run third and I'm over the line, I got to go home. And then if I go into second, I get to overrun it, but I was there first. And oh, yeesh, you schmatty, I just don't understand it. How much time we got, Kevin? We got that much time. Okay. All right, so we're moving right along. I'll tell you what, let's take a break. Let me regroup. We'll be right back. I need something to drink. I'll see you in a little bit. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Good Sports, the Next Generation. Dan Craven, Dwayne, and DJ with another one is the D cubed. Get it? Dwayne, Dan, DJ.
D3.
Work with me. Yeah, it's cubed, whatever. Here we go. Moving on. Last segment, we're going to wrap it all up. We're going to wrap it all up now. It's going to be like an editorial. It's going to be whatever the boys want to talk about here, we're going to talk about it. So I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and start. You got something, Deej?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll start. We're going to be we're going to just go left to right. And it's going to be right to left on your television screen. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I heard something on the radio the other day. I didn't follow it that much. I'd be kind of curious to maybe even ask you guys on you followed it or not. The AAFL, or whatever the hell they called it, was the AAF, whatever. The other NFL league that was not the NFL that did this summer with the football league, the professional football league.
I heard about it.
Ended up basically being a big flop. I don't know that was a huge shocker to anybody that we don't want football outside of when we normally get football. I heard on the radio that they said that the owner or whoever it was, sponsor, whatever, put $70 million into it and basically just said, all right, we're going to shut it down. I don't even know if they finished the season, but ultimately ended up being a flop. And I just find it somewhat interesting that somebody thought that was going to be a success. In my mind, as much of a machine as the NFL is, I don't know that that's something that you're gonna be able to do.
I turned the TV on and just happened to catch a piece of that. What was the quarterback for Cleveland that beat the girlfriend and lost his job? And he really...
Manziel?
Yes, yeah. He was playing. He stunk. I mean, it's like he's in this minor league, right? And he still stunk.
Right. I know.
Yeah, so
that's why I wanted
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that story, but I'm not surprised.
So I just heard on the radio, I think yesterday or maybe it was Saturday, and I guess I've also been hearing from another somebody else, a podcast that I listen to, is that he did say that the one sport that you probably could do that with would be basketball, and what he said the only way that it would work is if you take basically the top 15 people and just say, hey, you think the owners are getting too much? Well, let's go over here and let's just start our own league, and you guys can have your own teams. I think that we might have a chance there because of how top heavy that league is. But everything else, I just thought it was. I'm not surprised, I guess, and I'm not a gazillionaire or a genius either. But it was one of those things where you didn't even hear. You didn't hear.
I mean, I knew there was that other league, but I mean that was it. But I didn't know they folded.
I think there was something else. I don't know that they necessarily folded or they just stopped or they're not going to do it again.
I see.
But basically, they were talking about how that correlates to maybe what I think they're trying to do another XFL at some point too. So not really somewhat surprising. The NCAA football is probably going to still continue to be the feeder league, unlike any other sport where you can't substitute in other players. Towards the end of the season or when people get hurt as easily. So that was my editorial.
It was a good one. I liked it. Dwayne, you're next.
Well, you mentioned before, Dan, about local sports. I'm really excited to see the Bulldogs baseball team this year. I think they've really got a real solid team from every angle you look at it. The batting, they've got some great pitching. I think their base runners are great. Their fielding is great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them make. Last year they got stopped in the quarterfinals, and I'd love to see them get that far again and keep going. I don't think a Meadville team's ever made it to the state finals in baseball that I ever heard of. I know the only team other than you guys in hockey that made there a lot was volleyball way back in the '60s, and it would be awesome to see a Meadville team get a chance to get that crown. So I've got my fingers crossed for Meadville baseball. I think this might be their year.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great to see. What you don't happen to know when it starts here, do you? We'll have to.
They're already 4 or 5 games in.
Okay.
And it's like they've already had a bunch of dramatic come from behind.
Really? Okay. Yes. Yeah.
They just beat somebody like Mercier's Prep or somebody from Erie.
They were behind 6-1 and came back
7-6 or something.
Yeah. So it's like this just seems like they got that little bluebird of happiness on their shoulder, and so I think it's going to be a good year for the Dogs there.
That's good for them. Yeah, just another shout out to the Sandman for all you people that follow college wrestling, you know that's the nickname of Cal Sanderson, who was led the Penn State Nittany Lion wrestling squad to their another national championship, and whatever that turned out to be, and so that's 8 out of 9 years, and so basically the Lou Saban is the Cal Sanderson of NCAA football. He's got to try to catch him. I mean, the Sandman is he's building a dynasty. An interesting twist for Pennsylvania, we talked about Pennsylvania stuff, is I was reading, it was like, of all the people that were attending, of all the schools that was attending the NCAA Division I wrestling, it was like 53 were from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and everybody else filtered everything out. The next closest one, I think, was Ohio, and that turned out to be somewhere around like 24 or something like that. So we're talking about kids like, you know, that ended up, that wrestled in Pennsylvania in high school and went to other colleges, but Pennsylvania wrestling is huge around here. I just want to, hats off to all the local sports. I think, you get a chance, go out and see the kids play. I know we got, I think boys volleyball's hot right now. I know lacrosse is hot, both boys and girls. And I think, what else is going on? Cross country maybe now. Is that now due? Or is that a
not
fall?
really. They get rolling here.
No, regular track is
Regular
now.
track is going.
I'm just trying to think, just support your local high school. I mean, it's a good thing. If you have nothing else better to do.
Volleyball, tennis.
Volleyball,
Boys
tennis,
volleyball,
all
and
that.
tennis
All
is
that.
going
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah, just, go out and buy some popcorn and be supportive and, be a good fan. I refereed, and I know I wasn't the best referee, but, just keep your comments to yourselves. In fact, just write it down, go home, and throw it away. That's the best way to do that. And then we can kind of go from there. So
Share it on social media, right?
always share it on social media. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so that was our Potpourri show, and I'll tell you what, we'll be back in a few months. But any closing comments, guys, before we wrap it up?
No, to get out there and do the outdoors thing, and we've gotten some nice weather here finally this weekend.
Sure.
We've got some nice weather, and
Right.
go out there and burn those calories.
So we're asking for a couple things. We got the markets, looking from Dwayne's perspective. We're looking, right here on the website. Get a hold of Dwayne that way if you want to. But we need some. If you got some extra cash, we got the Zamboni we got to worry about. There's some stuff at the Mark. DJ's going to be climbing a mountain with a GoPro strapped on his head, and
I've already got plans. I got good plans. We got suction cup one too. We can
Suction cup
right on your forehead.
We got other people that can use one of the suction cups.
But anyways, we covered a lot today, and we'll be back in a few months. Kind of keep an eye on what's going on with the NHL and everything else. But with that, I'm going to say until next time. See you later.